guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and today we're going to be looking at how to do a featured 5-star arena grind. Now, I've gotten some questions recently about doing a 5-star featured grind for a specific champion, how I do it and that sort of thing. Now, I have done a couple of these featured grinds, so I'm by no means an expert, but I have done a few. I've done the Nick Fury grind, I've done Warlock, Thing when he was in the arena selector, and of course my biggest and one I put up the most points for, Silver Surfer. So I do get some questions about what is a good way to keep the infinite streak going, when to boost, when to refresh, and what refreshes give you the best unit value. So I'm going to break it down how I do these grinds. Now, some of you may do it differently, and that's perfectly fine. This is just what works for me. So first and foremost, these grinds really depend on what champion is in the arena. If it is a new champ who looks like they're going to be awesome, like Doom, be prepared to put up the points. Now, if it's a new, high prestige champ like Surfer, be prepared, to put up the points for that as well. Although in all actuality, 5-star prestige is really becoming a thing of the past. So now let's talk about some masteries, because to get more points and to end your fights quicker, you're going to want to run Suicide Masteries. Now, if you don't want to run Suicide Masteries, the grind is going to be a bit more tedious for you, because the Suicide Masteries help to boost your PI dramatically, and therefore the higher the PI is, the more points you get, and also you get a less chance of getting a death match. We all know how frustrating those death matches can be. So really, running any mastery setup that is going to give you a max PI is always a really good idea. Now, it's also a good idea to know how much you can put up per round as well. Now, if you don't already know this, it's probably a good idea to run a test arena before the champ you want is in the arena. Now, you may need to do some rank ups, and it's always a good idea to do this before you start your featured grind, because if you have to do this during your grind, it's going to cost you some valuable time, and time is the most expensive thing really in these grinds. Okay, so now let's talk about building the streak. Now, this will be a changing subject in the future, because it has honestly changed since the last featured grind I did, which was the Silver Surfer grind. So, and the reason for this is because there are more people having rank 3 6-stars. So what have I found to work? Well, first, I personally like to use my 550s for fights 1 through 8, and that usually gives me over 240k. Some of you may, choose to do this differently, and that's perfectly fine. So then for the Kang and Thanos fights, which are, fights 9 through 14, 15 starting the other summoners teams, I kind of do things a bit different, and I bring in synergy teams, specifically power control teams, or teams where you can eat a special. So, Blade, Ghost Rider, Starkey, even though Starkey's rank 3 and Blade and Ghost Rider are 565, I still bring that team in for those fights. 565 Nick, a 455 Sparkles, and a rank 3 Quake. 565 Warlock, rank 4 Vision and Magic for that synergy, or also my rank 2 Void, my Omega, and my 125 6-star Killmonger are also ways that in which I get through those fights, and that works for me. And then I continue on with my 565s, 455s, and 125 6-stars. This continues well into the acceptable range for when the infinite streak begins, which is technically at fight 22. Now, all of my 455s and 125s, once they're all on cooldown, I begin with building the infinite streak using kind of a sandbag method. Now, the infinite streak, like I said before, has changed, and I use 2 different methods. Now, there is one for 4 stars and one for 5 stars. Now, it's pretty similar PI wise, which is why it works. Now, for the 5 stars, I use my lowest 345, my highest 245, so they're right next together, and my lowest 125, as long as the PI for the 125 isn't below 3k. If it is below 3k, forget it, deathmatch. Okay, so, and then I just kind of work my way on up. And now for the 4 stars, it's a very similar method in regards to the PIs being very similar. So I use my lowest 550, my highest 440, and my lowest 330, and again, work my way up. Now, if your lowest 330 is below 3K, forget it, deathmatch. And then you just kind of keep working your way on up through. Now, by the time I get through all my 4 stars, they have again started to refresh, and that's kind of what you want. So that way you can honestly just kind of keep the grind going. Okay, so now let's talk about arena boosts, because that's really what you're gonna want to kind of focus on a little bit after you get the streak going, and you're going to be using the greater arena boosts. Now you will be using some of the regular 4-star arena boosts, but again, it's really going to depend on the champion you're going for. That will determine your boosting and refreshing, but you get a lot of points with these greater arena boosts, so that's what you're going to want to focus on. So when it comes to boosting and refreshing, again, it's going to all depend on the champion you're going for. For the Silver Surfer grind, I boosted every day. Now for the others like Nick, Warlock, and the Thing, I boosted the second and the final day. And that really helped out. Now, for like unit value wise, you get the most unit value by boosting your 550s with the 2x multiplier. So it may not give you the most points, but it is the best unit value when it comes to refreshing. Next comes boosting your 565 champs with the 1.5x multiplier. Of course, when you boost, regardless of if it's your 550s or your 565s, you want to refresh. Okay, now for the last, maybe 20 minutes of arena, I refresh my top 6 stars once I run out of boost, and that is usually what happens. So boosting though, the thing about boosting and refreshing is it is always a case-by-case basis. If you wait until the end of your grind to start refreshing champs, then you want to refresh your 6 stars because that will give you more points versus time, but you'll be spending more that'll give you more points versus time. So, but if you refresh your 550s and 565s with the big boy boosts, it may cost you more time, but you'll be spending less units. So if units really isn't an issue for you, then refreshing your 6 stars is the best way to get the most points in a small amount of time. If units though is a priority to you, then refreshing your boosted 565s and 550s is the way to go. Now you can also boost up, with attack and health boosts as well to not only boost your PI, but also to end fights quicker. Now, I personally don't use these when it comes to my grinds, but they are always an option to do as well, especially if you're going to tack on the arena boosts on top of those. So, but anyways, guys, that's all that I got. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of doing a 5-star featured grind? Do you think it is worth it? How do you boost? Do you boost your 550s and 565s? Do you refresh them, or do you refresh only 6 stars? Do you think times are changing when it comes to high prestige 5-star champs? Do you think they will be going nearly as high as they did in the past? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.